Hi everybody, welcome to Art Exploration with Mark Muir. Today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful, simple coffee filter. Look like this before I started. Flowers. Now you can use these for all kinds of occasions. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'll show you a few different ways of cutting and coloring and options that you can try to do things. Okay, move these over here. Move these over here. We're going to need You'll need a plate. You can use a regular plate. You'll need some coffee filters, scissors, any kind of tape. It's thinner tape like this. This is all I had right now, so optional. This kind of paint, or that's for later on. Like you can do this with either acrylics or with watercolors. It's very simple. It's the most time-consuming part is letting them dry. And I've seen some people where they'll take and they will hang them with post hangers on a wire so they hang and dry quicker. It all depends on what hurry you're in or whatever. I just let mine sit out overnight and dry. Because by the time you can be like, I'll show you, I did this. This one is with using acrylics. And so, like, there was no acrylic on this other than some of these you can't see very well right now, but there is shimmer to it because I used a shimmery mix over, and this is with acrylic on this one. Okay, this was a tester, so don't pay no mind to some of my things I was playing about. And then this was my first one I did, and I mean the colors do not come off on here as well as they do here. I don't know why. I have figured out why. I've tried switching all of my light bulbs, everything, and I still get a little bit of a yellow hue once in a while. Throws everything off. Oh well. But these are even more darker, gorgeous colors than what they're appearing on here. Now this whole wreath took probably 2 or 3 packs of these, depending on like, because I made sure it was tight knitted and stuff. So, and that wreath has been hanging and has held up quite well. I would suggest if you're making these um, wreaths for outside, someplace it's going to be covered. I don't know how they're going to hold up with weather. Maybe, yeah, it should be closed in porch or something like that if you're going to put them where they could be exposed to rain because they're paper. What do you expect? You know? So let me start with how you get the color in them because you can do some beautiful. See, this is what they're look. This is what they're. That's it. Nothing spectacular. This does not even show you what it, how good it could be. So, first we'll start off with the, I just use a little bit of cups or whatever. If you're doing this on a mass scale, I suggest you use something like a big bowl or whatever, but remember, if you're using, especially when you're using paints, whether it's acrylics or whatever, don't use a bowl of stuff that you are going to be eating out of, cooking out of, anything like that, because you don't know what all is in the paints that could transfer and make you sick, or it's a safety thing. Just be safe. Don't if you're going to use household items, don't use it for anything other than your crafting if you're using it for crafting. So I'm just using these right now. So you just take, like I'll take a little bit of my liquid watercolor. Put it in there. Push it around a little bit. And then you just take your coffee filters to make sure you separate them. Sometimes they get things. And now there are different ways, and I'll show you. You'll see here soon. But you just take it, dip it in there, bring it out. Now, some people, depending on what way you're trying to do it, if you want more of that rough, old decaying rosy look, you can, did you notice this is very, very faint? It because it is watercolor, and I didn't use a lot in it. But what you can do is you can either lay them out, or you can scrooge them up like this. I always try to get some of the excess water out of it. When you scrooge it up like this, and then you can take, like this was the watercolor. You just can drip onto it, and then that's how you kind of get these different areas. And you mean, like I'm saying too, I don't know why this comes off so bright. So, I mean, these colors are very deep, very, very deep in real life. So don't let the, faded lookingness fool you, because they're very deep. But then you can just let that kind of sit, let it dry overnight, and then when you open it up, see how it's that has found its way into the creases. Even going like this, it'll find its way into those creases. Then it'll dry up, and you'll be done with it. Now, if you want darker, two things I would suggest: more pigment, and don't push it out as much. That should give you a much darker pigment. Now, I'll give you another application. That if you want really good, like that with my blues, those are deep, gorgeous, true blues and stuff. What I did with that is you take, this is a little bit, this one is a little bit, there's two different ways to do this. You can do this, sorry, you can do this two different ways, okay? So a little bit, the water in there. Keep adding, just so, till you get it almost like runny paint, but not like water. And you just take your thing, lay it out. Of course, use a bigger brush than I'm using. You see how it's getting a much deeper color. pretty much there's the application differ. It depends on what you're trying to get in the colors, and you can mix back and forth as to what you're doing. Okay, so there's that one. Now you just let that dry, and you'll do all the other steps after this as well. Or now you can do the whole add a lot more water, mix it around. Now I've found with doing my roses, um, this right here, this darker, that's just black I throw in there because I feel like once you've been cutting them out and stuff, it gives that aged old, dried, getting ready to die flower, beautiful look. That I think is gorgeous. Now, like the other one, you just, this is just watered down more. You throw it in, pull it out, and as you can see, if you want more vibrant colors, using a watered down acrylic can be a better result. Let's squish it out. Squish it out. See? Now, see, squishing that out still took some of the color, but not much. But see, you're going to get a much more pigmented. So, but I for this one used the watercolor because I hadn't tried it yet and I liked it. But this is another way. That's another way to approach this. Okay. So I think that you can do the dipping and stuff, but for me, color, if I would throw another color onto that, just spotted, or leave it solid, which the solid looks good too. That's what my blues done. My blues were all just solid color. So that's that. And hold on. So I might end up hearing a little bit of it. All right. Keep them awake or alive. So you'll have to avoid that part. So I'm waiting for that moment to appear here soon. I know it's gonna. I'll get prepared for our next steps. I like to take 2 or 3 and fold them together. You can do them one at a time if you want. Here coming in. Just take them. Now there are several different ways you can do this. I should probably show you this. One piece at a time. Okay. The first way you can do it is cut it out like that. when you're cutting this one, it doesn't, you can kind of, that, like that. So that was this is the one that we did like that. Put that over there for now. That was just leaving a straight edge and just cutting it. Okay. Then this one, you're going to want to cut kind of like a scallop like that. Okay. Scallop, cut it the next row. And I do a lot of this because it's also a very good way to not waste all of your hard work. So that's your scalloped. Now, the last way you can cut it is more of some big ones, some little ones, you know. See, just random pattern, a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Because that's how flowers grow, especially roses. Okay. And then, of course, you want to take, I find a divot and I cut it. Find a divot and cut it. Find a divot and cut it. Now, I usually use okay. Now, I usually use at least 2 per rose, give or take what size you're looking for, and all that stuff. But you see why um, putting them together and doubling them over to make it a little quicker as far as the cutting part goes. Now, you can do this project depending what you're trying to make. If you're trying to do a wreath, you can buy wreaths for like $3 or $4, depending on what size you're looking for and what it is. Or foam balls, whatever. You can probably do this project for under 20 bucks, if not under 10. That's with, your stuff you're using. And I think probably this is the second most time consuming part is just the, cutting out. But you know what? Sitting there watching TV, kill time. That's what I did when I did my first one. Sit and watch TV, pile them, pile them next to my chair, and then I assemble them the same way. And you don't have to oh gosh, I cut that one out of that one and I didn't. It doesn't matter. You can mix the cuts. You can mix all the other stuff. Now, this one that I did like this, where I didn't cut the edges, okay, you're going to get this kind of look, which to me is a little bit more like this is more it can be a rose, or if you do them just right, they'll look like what is that, carnation? Which actually it looks like a carnation to me, and that's how you get if you use this type. I'm not going to do that type right now because I'm only going to show you how to assemble like one or two roses. Now, this big leafy weird one, that gets you this. That looks a little bit more like a rose, kind of a wild rose or something. And then the other one, or is it this? The other one where you're a little bit more not, close to the same things, you're gonna get a decent looking little rose. Which these are more like what you call the wild roses or whatever, but I think they're beautiful. Now I edged mine with a dry brush and a little bit of metallic gold paint. I'm making these for a upcoming project for a collab I'm going to be doing soon for Jack and the Cuckoo Clock Cart. So that will be fun. Keep your eyes out for that. I'm sure my friend Faith has just went, ah! We talked about this, the Jack and the Cuckoo Clock Heart, over a year ago. I hadn't yet set a date or anything yet. It was just concept. Well, she just, she's Faith. She don't wait for nothing. So she had it done by the next day. So she's been waiting. She's had her project and her video done for quite some time now, and has told me she's tired of seeing it sitting in her queue, and it needs released soon. So I'm working out the details. I had hoped to do it this month, but I'm thinking towards the end of next month. I have to sit down and really write up everything I need to write up, and then film. That's it, and find some people to join. So now we're gonna start. This is about what would you say that is? Maybe 10 inches. You'll find, depending on your flowers you're doing and stuff, depends on what size of piece of tape you use. And I laid mine straight out and I turned the ends over so it holds it down for me. This this part goes faster than you'll realize once you get it under control. It is very much like pleating, doing some pleating on this. So that's pretty much what you're doing. You're going to lay it down, fold it over. Let's see if I can get. Okay. Trying to not be too much in people's way, but hey, lay it down, fold it over. Okay, eventually you'll see this better as we're moving along. Lay it down, fold it back over. Most of you ladies, I think, should know, or gentlemen, somewhat about how pleating works. I'll give you the. Depending how big you make the pleating would also depend, between things, will depend on how it's going to look. Now, what I'm talking about when I talk about pleating is you bring that forward and then fold it back over. Let me see now with this one. Okay. So we're pleating. You would bring this, fold it back over. Bring it, fold it back over. That's what you're doing. Once again, fold it back on itself, and fold it back over. Fold it back on itself, fold it back over. Fold it back, fold it back, forward. Fold it back, fold it forward. And you build a pleat. So you get a check like that. Then you get your next piece. Start it in there. Back and forth. That's all we're doing. Another one of those things you could sit and do this. You got one of those little table things you sit in front of you when you're crafting. If you ever get in, we have some variations and stuff. And that's when a little bit of the center, where are you hiding? Yeah, a little bit of the centers that are a little bit shorter and smaller will work. Just grab it, fold it over. Grab it, fold it over. And sometimes I'll actually fold down on top of itself. So I get a little bit more in an area. Especially when I'm getting towards this area here. So that would be, okay. You want your bigger, you've got bigger pieces, that's what I'm saying. Use your bigger pieces. Use your big piece as your outer layer for your beginning. Then your centerpiece, and then your centerpiece, and then your really centerpiece. I just take it, fold it over on itself. And it doesn't even have to be fancy cut. Now you just do your beginning rose center of just rolling it around and letting it kind of cray. See that? These, hold on. Let me see if I can get a better focus on you. See? Let's take a little rose. The beginning of rose. All right. Now, what you do, take that center, take your end over here. I just put it right there. I bring my tape over and pinch it real good. Now the rest of this is just rolling. Pinch, roll. And your tape will be folding over on itself from time to time. That's fine. Just make sure you're pushing it in there good. Building a flower. What you're doing. You're now just building onto it and creating a flower. And there you've got it. A quick, easy, simple rose. Isn't that gorgeous? And you'll have it end like this, which what I do when I make sure I pinch it good. And if I'm adding it onto things, you can make green or whatever and add on, if you have green tape, use the green tape. But I just take it, I cut through, and then I hot glue that, stick it on what I'm doing. Fluff it down a little bit, and voila. There's your rose. Really easy, really simple. If you guys are liking what you're finding, please don't forget to like and comment maybe, and share. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because the subscribe button tells me that I'm doing something good and that I should continue making videos. Now see, this was a little bit shorter, which is fine. Now let me show you the difference of if you don't make it center. If you don't make it center, you'll still get a center. I just feel like it comes off differently, which is fine. You don't have to make it. You can make them just like this without making that little centerpiece. But I like to make the little centerpiece. That's just me though. See, I just don't feel like you get the same effect without that centerpiece. See the difference? That little bit of a difference. go. See that little difference? That looks like a rose to you now compared to look. It just doesn't. That makes such a difference. I mean, even when you're messing around like that, it looks. I mean, it looks good, but this says rose. This says maybe blooming rose. They're all still good because you're using so many of them on stuff. You're really not going to notice that much. And now, like I said, okay, so I've made. You can pretty much do a rose with just one, depending on how big you want to make the rose. That's pretty much one, just all the three layers cut down. This was two. I also had a shorter piece of tape, so I did them a little tighter. But and then, okay, we'll do that little thing too. Hold on. I gotta find. I use no, okay. Walmart has the $4 brushes, $4, $5 massive brushes, and there's there's like 20 or 30 brushes. Some of them are these like weird, hard, ugh, looks like hay bristles. They're great for a lot of things. So this, I just take a little bit of this is the antique gold, just a hint. Then you just take your little rose. Like to hit just the tips as best as I can. And that does two things. A, it makes it look gorgeous, and B, it really helps to define your petals more. Remember, you don't want to use a wet brush for this because this is, it's just you're just going to wet your flower and it's going to not look good. That's why I'm saying if you can avoid putting it someplace where it's going to get wet, do so. Unless you're using, now if you're using the acrylic and you're putting it on thick-ish, that might hold up okay to a little bit of moisture exposure, but not a lot. I don't know. I think it's gorgeous, and I wish the camera showed a little bit better how beautiful these really are. Like I've made piles of them, and that was only using half of the first stack. So you can probably do a good wreath, depending on like I said, how big you want to make your roses and all that stuff. You can do that in a um, decent usage, and you can probably 1 to 2 packs of those, and they're real inexpensive. You want to use these kinds. You don't want to use those other weird things. Those you're not going to get nothing out of those. Those are horrible. And you can add a little bit more and stuff. But this is just gorgeous to me. And as we all know, things look much better in real life than they do on camera. Let's chat a little closer for y'all. Isn't that gorgeous? Where's it? And you feel like you're gonna be like, oh, they're so delicate. And see, this is one where I used much more bigger leaf. See how I cut it very big. I used much more of the paper when I folded it over. So I cut it bigger. So that also makes a really big difference. I just love doing that. Yeah, what I did with that one, I have some spares that I clean stuff up with, and these will eventually become something. Decoupage. Who knows? But that was when I did that one. This is what I did. I did very. And then when I did it, I used a lot more of it, see? I don't turn my autofocus on in case people are wondering, well, where's your autofocus? It goes, makes people sick. So this will be my last one I'm going to show you before I let you guys go. And this would make a gorgeous little Valentine's Day card or whatever you want to stick it on, all kinds of stuff. You can make wreaths, you can make balls, you can make cute little, this is like ones I'm making are going to go on something that's flat but it needs dimension to it. So you can stick this on, make a little, just make a bunch of them and cut out of the heart and stick them on a poster board. Make your own Valentine's Day card. Have fun with it. This is how I'm doing it. So as I'm doing it, you can see some of the tape is pleating. Helps. Now look, see, that just gives it much more of a truer rose. And when I let mine dry, as you can see, I let them dry very wrinkled, and they were all crunched up like this. I did some dropping. That's why you have different spots like this and stuff, because those will make character in your rose. You see what I'm saying? They'll make so much more character. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming and watching. And um, like I said, please, if you want to see me do something else, or you want, you just like to watch me, let me know. A lot of my content right now is going to be lives because I just don't have the time to edit everything. So, and I don't like it. You know what? I'm unfiltered, and I hate being filtered in a sense. So even when I'm making a flap like this one right now, it's live, but it's not live because I am live, but I'm private living, so that I'm not looking for people to be talking to me and stuff like that. But that's just how I'm going to make most of my videos are going to be done like this because it's quicker, it's easier for me, and that's what it takes for me to have content. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you guys once again for coming and watching and sharing. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification icon so you know the next time I post a video. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Zombie hugs.